record. All right. We're so ready to go. Let me go into full screen mode. My name is Diesta Goldsmith, and I am a health and wellness coach. I have been coaching now for maybe about 3 years, and started during the pandemic, which a lot of people started during the pandemic because life was really crazy. I just wanted to say that I'm honored to have you take the time to be with me tonight, as I know that it's the middle of the summer, everybody's so busy and everything. So I am going to talk about in my menopause group, I asked a question that said, if you wanted to ask a nutritionist about menopause or anything about food, what would you ask? And so people put like 25 comments in there, and I went to work and did a deep dive with a exercise physiologist and a lady who specializes in menopause. Her name is Dr. Stacy Sims. And I went through her course, and I've been learning a lot about peri and postmenopause and how we need to change what we eat in order to now accommodate our ever-changing bodies. And so at the end of this, I want you to know that I am not a nutritionist, but I have just passing along and learning on my own and seeing what works in my different clients for their body types and where they are on their menopause journey. So at the end of this, I do have, can you guys tell that my screen changed? Give me a thumbs up if you see okay, Tony's shaking her head, thank you. At the end, I have a $25 gift card to give away. And just to thank you for your time being here, we'll do a little raffle at the end, and I'll probably be done in about 20 minutes because I always talk really fast. I can't help it. I get excited. Next thing you know, this thing will be over in 3 minutes. So, okay, so I'm going to try to slow my roll and take my time. So we're going to talk about, first of all, what is menopause? Because a lot of times I think people already know what menopause is and you know, how it affects your body. But we're going to talk about that really quick. I think I only have 2 slides. We'll talk about how our body changes. And this is from perimenopause to menopause to postmenopause, what changes are going into our body, what to eat and why, how much to eat, and the numbers that Dr. Stacy Sims says are pretty high. And you're going to be like, wow, I don't think I can eat that much. But we'll talk about that, and I'll have time for any questions. And if I can't answer your questions, I will research them and get them back to you. And then what about our gut? Our gut health impacts how we use fat. It impacts how we break down food. So we need to talk a little bit about your gut, because you can change all these things, which will help your gut. But if your gut's in a bad place and not performing adequately, that's going to affect your overall health. So perimenopause is the years leading up to menopause. The average is 4 years, but it can start in your early 40s. For me, I think I started in my late 30s. My mother went through menopause early. I didn't know this until I started really struggling. That's why I became a menopause kind of wellness coach, because of my struggles. I went through menopause at 48. The average age is 51. I'm seeing other things that say 52, but menopause is a whole year where you have not had your period. And then the 12-month marker is like the end of menopause. And then after that, you are postmenopausal. So postmenopausal, you have no periods for 12 months. Women go through a lot of different changes as they go through menopause. You'll see in the lower right part of the screen, perimenopause, those years leading up to that year where they don't have a period for that whole year. They experience a lot of things because of their estrogen changing, the progesterone changing, and they often have a lot of hot flashes, night sweat, sleep disturbances. This word is formication, F-O-R-M, not fornication, but formication. That's where you feel like pins and needles and on your skin, itchiness, you know, And that's due to the decline of estrogen. That's why some women start taking, collagen to kind of help with their nails and skin and hair. Joint pain, irritability. Oops, where'd my thing go? Irritability and fatigue a lot of times. And then in menopause, vaginal dryness, low libido. You start maybe having problems with bladder control and hair loss. Some people experience brain fog. Brain fog should go away eventually after you get through menopause, but those are some of the symptoms women go through. So it's usually because you have, when you're in your productive years, you have three kinds of estrogen. Your estradiol, excuse me, that is what is used in your body to have children. There's a second kind of estrogen that is highest when you are pregnant. And then you have estrone. We'll talk about estrone because estrone is the estrogen that stays with you for your entire life. And when your reproductive estrogen starts to decline, this estradiol declines, and your follicle stimulating hormone, these levels go up. That's usually when you have your last period, your FMP, your final menstrual period. And then the next year, after a year later, you are now postmenopausal. So during the years leading up, or perimenopause, when you start seeing these fluctuations over here on the left, you see how these readings are going up and down. The way they go up and down, it confuses the brain, and the brain says, oh, is she hot or is she cold? It doesn't understand how to regulate your temperature. And you'll see usually the years leading up to menopause can be very rough on women, and especially with their progesterone not being the same ratio. Now the progesterone is declining. They feel more anxiety. They feel more stress. And then if they're having vasomotor symptoms, which is the hot flashes and, things like that, it can be a very tough time for women. Okay, so this is a kind of a busy chart, but really I want you to focus on is the 3 to 4 years before menopause is when your body composition starts changing. And if I could, I want you to look over here to the right. Your normalized fat mass up to the right corner, you'll see 3 to 4 years before your final menstruation period is when your fat mass starts to go up on the norm. Going down to the next chart, your lean body mass now, because now your body is not as good at monitoring and using insulin like it was before. Now you start to put on more fat mass than what you had. So what you see here in the second little chart here on the right, your lean mass starts to decline. And it starts, 3 to 4 years before your final period, and it declines, and it goes up a little bit, but it's never at the level that it was before. And then at the bottom here, you'll see down here that the weight gain tends to come up because you've lost your lean muscle, you put on more fat, so your weight gain tends to go up a little bit as well when you go through menopause. So now going back over to the left, we talked about the biggest changes in menopause occur 3 to 4 years. You have a reduced anabolic stimuli, and your anabolic stimulators are your insulin, your branched chain amino acids, your insulin growth factors, which help you put on muscle. Those things start to decline as you start going through menopause. And so now the body's like, what's up? This is a little crazy. Now the body is changing. And a lot of times going down to number 3, women have increased baseline cortisol and stress reactions to menopause. So that causes ladies to put on weight. And then number 4 is you have a decreased insulin sensitivity. So you'll see a lot like on those Golo commercials, which are like every other commercial on TV, I swear. They talk about insulin resistance. And what that is that your body isn't adequately taking the insulin that it's getting from carbohydrates. It's not using it as energy, it's storing it as fat. So you want a insulin sensitivity in your body. No matter how old you are, how young you are, you want to have this insulin sensitivity working to your advantage. And so if it's not, then you have more blood glucose in your skin and in your blood. So then we also talked about the balance between estrogen and progesterone. That ratio is not the same. That also causes our body composition to change. And then also we have a different change in our bone structure. Because of the drop in estrogen, now our bones are become a little bit more brittle. That changes our bone health. And that changes also our ability to get that lean muscle mass unless we can do something about it, and we can. Okay, so the carbohydrates and insulin sensitivity, just wanted to talk about this really quick, is that they affect your E2, which is the one I was talking about, your estradiol, and your progesterone. That ratio affects your cellular response to insulin. They don't have, your hormones aren't there to balance each other out. And so now you don't respond to insulin like you did before. Your estrogen dominance continues to contribute to the elevated blood sugar. So if you're having a spike in your estrogen, then when you're going through menopause, then you're going to have elevated blood sugar. And then eventually that flatlines. All your sex hormones start to flatline, your estrogen and your progesterone, and that decreases your insulin sensitivity. And when that happens, we have a tendency to put weight on. Okay, I'm going to go to the next chart here. Okay, so this is kind of a science kind of chart, but I want you to what I want you to get out of it is this. So estrogen fits into the steroid metabolism pathway. And by what I mean by that is, like we just talked about, how estrogen affects your ability to to deal with insulin the way that you would want it to. It decreases your insulin sensitivity. So what happens is, over here on the right, you'll see a lot of this stuff, a lot of your estrogen comes from your adrenals, and it produces testosterone, and that goes into this estradiol. Estradiol now is on a decline, or is almost gone now for women who are postmenopause. And so now your body is drawing off of this estrone. This estrone is over here in the middle where you see my little cursor. Estrone resides in your adipose tissue. It's what your body uses now instead of the estradiol. And there's different brands of this estrone as it gets changed into these metabolic factors in your body. You have 16A hydroxyestrone, and then you have this 2-hydroxystrone. I'm not saying it right, but this 16A is the bad usage of estrone. And you want to make sure that you do as much as you can through your eating to make your body not produce this as much, and use this 2-hydroestrone as a source for burning fat and burning fuel in your body. So if you'll see here at the very bottom here on the right, it says A, that's increased by cruciferous vegetables and flax. So if you eat your broccoli and your cauliflower and your cabbage and your kale, your whole foods, your Brussels sprouts, things like that, that increases your body's opportunity to use this 2-hydroestrone in your body. If you don't have a really good plant-based type of diet, then your body is going to be using this. This is less potent. It's not as efficient as this 2-hydroestrone over here. So the benefits is that you have a lot of health benefits. You're better at burning fat. You're better at fuel for your body. You're better at building muscle. It blocks cell proliferation, which could be, how cancer cells can proliferate. This blocks that. If you have this 16A, It causes more inflammation. You have excess omega-6 in your bloodstream. It can lead to hypothyroidism and cell proliferation. So it's important. It all comes down, it always does, but it all comes down to what you eat, because your wellness, I don't know if you heard this before, but your wellness is 80% nutrition, 20% exercise and fitness, and 100% mindset. Let me say that again. So your wellness is 80% nutrition, makes sense, right? What you eat, 20% fitness, exercise, those kind of things, and 100% mindset. So the takeaway from this slide is kind of busy. I got my letters all twisted around, but what I want you to take away from that is that your body isn't making this testosterone anymore like it was. This estradiol is now not there. Your body is using estrone. And for your body to get the best type of estrone, you want to make sure you have a lot of veggies, salads, cauliflower, cabbage, kale in your diet, because that is going to promote that 2-hydroxyestrone in your bloodstream and in your body. So what to eat? Are you with me? Did I put you to sleep? Okay. What you want to do is you want to eat the rainbow. How many times have you guys have heard that in your life? Eat the rainbow. And I have this saying that I always say to my clients: if it comes from a farm, eat it. If it comes from a factory, avoid it. If it comes from a farm, eat it. If it comes from a factory, avoid it. Right? So the plate here is kind of different than you see from my plate. My plate, if you look at my plate, everybody's probably familiar with that. It'll have, milk on the side, but the drink of choice is really water. You really want to flush your body out with water, because I think it's 60 to 70% of your body is made of water. And so how much water should you drink a day? The standard is that you need to drink at least half your body weight in ounces a day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you want to drink at least 75 ounces a day, at least. So a lot of times people say, well, I drink coffee and tea. You do want to just drink straight water, because your body responds to it a little different than coffee and tea, right? And then a lot of times what we put in our coffee is, a lot of crazy stuff and cream and all that kind of stuff, which I love cream with my coffee. I can't give that up. Okay, so you'll see here on the plate, have plenty of fruits and vegetables. You can't get fat eating a bunch of fruit. You can't get fat, eating, whole foods and potatoes and yams. It's just the things that we put on those things, which is what causes us the weight gain, right? We'll have yams, but then we'll put a whole bunch of brown sugar and things on it, and it becomes a vegetable that's not very healthy for us. So half your food, half your plate with fruits and vegetables. Your this time of year, your watermelon, your strawberries, your raspberries, go for it. Your protein foods, I'll give you some examples here, but your protein foods are a serving, and that could be, eggs and salmon and beans. We'll get to that. And there's so many vegetarian options that you can do. And then the lower part here, it does have your grains. Even these pastas, the recommendation would be to use like the bean pastas that they have now, the whole wheat pastas. There is rice there, it's brown rice. I think if you have regular rice, it's not as good for you, but still, you can still eat white rice and lose weight. But the better choice is to have more whole grain pasta and quinoa, things like that. So plant-based diets work really well for women. A lot of times you have to really work to get all the protein that you want. You have to be more cognizant of it, but it does work well for women. And then you'll say, well, how many calories do I need? Well, you can find out your resting metabolic rate. You can Google that. You can go to, there's so many websites on there. You can say, well, how many calories do I need a day? And that is like your resting metabolic rate is like if you were to lay in bed all day and just breathe, how many calories do you need for that? And then if you're active, you know, you'd add calories onto that. And then if you're, you know, exercising 5-6 times a week, if you're training for something, then hopefully your coach is helping you with your macros there. But, you know, you would add to that for how active you are. So, and then women, always be cognizant of your energy level. If you're just getting up and you're trying to only eat like 1,200 calories a day, but you are dragging, you're eating clean, you're eating clean, but you are dragging, that's an indication that you're not either getting enough rest, you're not drinking enough water, you're not eating the right kind of nutrients. Maybe it's indication that your gut health isn't what it should be, but just be cognizant of your energy level, because a lot of times we get used to a low energy level and it becomes our new norm. I've talked about this before, but when you don't get 7 to 9 hours sleep, you know, over time, your body gets used to that. And you say, oh, I only need 5 hours of sleep. No, it's just become your new normal. So just make sure you're cognizant of your energy level. All right, so we're going to talk about.
I got the potatoes in here.
Someone put somebody, can you go on mute, please?
That's okay. Toss in the garbage.
All right, I'm going to mute. All right, hold on a second. All right, let me see. All right, I think we're okay. All right, so make sure you're on mute if you're not on mute already. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, so protein. We're going to talk about protein because protein is really important for a woman that's postmenopausal. Protein is so important. Why? Because eating protein and having protein in your body makes your body use it to burn muscle. I mean, and to add muscle or maintain muscle in your body. You need muscle for daily chores. Did you know that 45% of women over 65 cannot lift 10 pounds? And so it's important for the longevity of your life, being able to bring in groceries, being able to lift things around the house. Your muscle mass is really important. So we're going to talk about protein. The numbers are going to seem high for you, but let's talk about it. All right, so let me see if I can get to the next chart. All right, so this is kind of a lot on one chart, but you'll see that protein in the body, it promotes your muscle protein synthesis, which affects the development of your muscles. Protein is extremely important in building muscles because the amino acids and those build your blocks of protein. It helps repair and maintain muscle tissue. After a workout, protein helps you recover, and because your muscles are slightly torn during exercise. So like when you lift weights, there's usually small little muscle tears from lifting weights. And so after a workout, it's really good to get some protein in. If not, like protein drinks are fine, but it's always better to get protein from real food. And so if you have to get it on the go, then those protein drinks, the muscle milk, the Orgain, they have them at Costco too. Those drinks are fine. They should have at least 25 grams to 30 grams of protein in them. But the goal would be to eat 3 to 4 times during the day, to eat protein during the day. And protein can be in the form of, almonds. It could be in the form of, eggs. It could be in the form, I'll show you different forms of protein. So for a sedentary adult, it's 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. For a general population, it's 1.2 to 1.7 grams. But for an active menopausal and postmenopause woman, the recommendation is about 2 grams per body weight. And you're like, wow, that's a lot. There's no way I can eat all that. I can't eat that much protein in a day. But remember that there's a lot of things that have protein in it that you're probably not aware of, and you probably don't count it, but probably in your diet now, you're not getting enough protein. So on the bottom there, a woman who weighs 160 pounds, if you get that in kilograms at 72 times 2.1, that'd be like 151 grams a day of protein. And this is for a woman that's active, a woman who exercises regularly. And sometimes people say, the course I'm taking is called Menopause for Athletes. And you might say, I'm not an athlete, but if you work out on purpose, if you exercise on purpose, I don't care, you could be 75 years old. There is an athleticism to your body and you need to fuel it properly. So that is just an example. You could get that through chicken. We'll go through it. But here's so many things that you can do to get protein in your body. You'll see salmon, chicken, shrimp. These are just like a small serving, 4 ounces, turkey, peanuts, peanut butter, cheese. There's a lot of things that have protein in them, but you're probably just not counting how many grams that are in them. Like a cup of cottage cheese has 14.6 grams in it. Greek yogurt has a lot of protein in it. And so if you have Greek yogurt and you put some blueberries in it, maybe you put some flaxseed in it, you can doctor these things up so you can get the amount of protein that would be good for your body. You also need to just see how your body works, right? What feels good to you, and try these things for, a period of time, talking with your doctor, talking with a nutritionist, so you do what's good for your body. But there's a lot of different ways to get protein into your body. Maybe you can't do that much, but you can make sure 3 to 4 times a day, you are getting some sample of protein into your body. And that's what I would really want you to take away today is 3 to 4 meals, get protein in. And that could be, your breakfast, you have some egg whites, maybe at lunch, a pre-snack would be your cottage cheese with protein in it. Maybe you could add, some protein powder, a protein drink in there somewhere through the day, have a chicken breast for lunch, for dinner, have, some other type of protein, and you could probably get pretty close to what you need a day. So just think 20 to 40 grams 4 times a day. So here's for people who are vegetarian, there's so many great options out there for you to get protein-rich foods with no meats or nuts. So there's California roll there. You see sunflower seed butter, milk. There's endamine. There's whole ground grain crackers, tortilla shells, yogurt, vegetarian patties. There's really good options for vegetarian proteins out there. Tofu, look, broccoli. There's hummus. Have hummus and some carrots, for lunch. Those kind of things will help you get protein in your diet. Avocado is a great option. I was talking to my client about avocado toast, avocado toast in the morning. Those kind of things get you those healthy fats, and it gets you the protein in your body. Okay, so we're going to talk about carbohydrates. And I just want to say healthy carbs aren't going to make you fat. I mean, there's been so much of this rage that, eat low carb, eat low carb, eat keto and all those kind of things. But women, we do need carbohydrates. Healthy carbs won't make you fat. Like I said earlier, it's the stuff that we put on them that make them dangerous. So you need carbs to kickstart fatty acid oxidation, which is how your body uses fat to release energy. And so you need carbs to burn fat efficiently. Our women's bodies are built to use fat for fuel. A lot of times we're just getting too much of bad fat in our diet. And so we're putting on fat and not using it as fuel. Plus we're not exercising. Exercising also gives us the metabolic stimulus that we used to get from estrogen. Exercise will infuse your body with the metabolic stimulus you need, the anabolic stimulus you need, so you can burn fat efficiently. So you do need to add exercise to your routine along with eating healthy. So I've seen there's a lot of controversy out there about the keto diet. It is really like no carbs, like 30 grams of carbs a day. And we talked about the guidelines that Dr. Stacy Sims gave was 2.0 would be her lowest recommendation per kilogram of body weight. So that's a lot of carbs. And the keto diet wants you to be between 30 and 50 carbs a day, grams a day for carbohydrates. That's too low for us women because of how our body has changed now. For men, it may work just fine because they don't use fat the way that we do. But if you're not getting carbs and you're adding additional fat, then it's going to raise your cortisol level, your stress, and then it adds fat that your body doesn't know how to burn. So initially, you may lose weight with just going super low carb, but your energy level over time is not going to be what it needs to be for you to really build the muscle that you need to build in your body. So the example here looks really high, 60 pounds. That's if you're 160 pounds, that's 72 in kilograms times like 275 would be in between there. That'd be 198 grams per day. Now you're probably saying that, you're probably saying, oh my God, if I ate that much, I would put on so much weight. No, you wouldn't, because you'd be eating your fruits and your vegetables and your whole foods, and you'd be eating your broccoli. You'd be eating, your strawberries and your blackberries and your watermelon. You wouldn't put on a lot of weight because of the type of nutrients you're putting in your body. So this is something that I'm just throwing out there to you guys. You guys will have to kind of see what works for you, and for where you are on your fitness level. Like some people will say, oh, we'll talk about calories, how many calories a day, and let's say, oh, I can't eat 1,500, 1,600 calories a day. And then I'll ask them to track their food, and they're actually eating 2,100 calories a day. So a lot of times we don't realize we're already eating a lot of calories. It's just not the right kind of nutrients. I'm going to have a time for question and answer. I see some things in the chat, but we'll get there. So like I said, healthy carbs won't make you fat, queen. They will not make you fat. Bananas, oranges, all those good things that come from the earth, they won't make you fat. It's always better to eat oranges than to drink orange juice. And that's because your body has to break down the orange, the pulp, the fiber. It has to change it into nutrients into your body. So that's why, eating fruit as opposed to drinking it is so much better for you, and whole grains and things like that. All right, so we need healthy fats. I'm getting towards the end. We need healthy fats because it lowers the risk of heart disease and stroke. It lowers bad LDL while increasing good HDL. That's the good cortisol. And then it prevents abnormal heart rhythms, lowers triglycerides associated with heart disease, and fights inflammation, and it helps lower your blood pressure. So healthy fats, you're probably already getting, she recommends 1 gram per kilogram. So if you're 160 pounds and you change that to kilograms, that would be 72 grams per day of healthy fat. That's pretty easy to get in, your eggs and your avocados, your salmon. And that would be for someone who is just, That might be high if you're not exercising, but if you're exercising and working out and eating, olive oil and those kind of things, cooking with that and watching how much, it's probably pretty easy to get to 50 to 72 grams per day for fat. But if it's good fat, it's not going to make you fat, right? It's just the bad fat, things that are your butters and your margarines and things like that, which is opposite keto. Keto says add all that stuff, but no, you don't. You want to add healthy fats to your diet. So last but not least, we're going to talk about your gut, because your gut is called the second brain. And if you're eating unhealthy, your gut is also unhealthy. And so your gut has microbiome. If you look in the lower right here, your gut in your intestines has microbiome in it. There's good bacteria and bad bacteria. So if you want your good bacteria to outweigh your bad bacteria, how do you get bad bacteria? It says up here in the upper right. How does it get worse over time? Processed foods, refined carbs, stress, poor sleeping habits, heavy use of antibiotics will do that to you. But if you get a healthy gut, your gut alters the way you store fat. Your gut helps signal to your brain if you're full. It helps with your hunger and your leptin hormones, your hunger hormones, or your ghrelin, and your hormones that tell you that you're satisfied are your leptin. So it helps your brain tell your brain that you're full, and it helps with the promotion of fat, how you're going to use fat in your body. It helps with your energy. This ATP is kind of what you use when you exercise. It starts with the glucose and it goes to this ATP, and that ATP helps you exercise, gives you the energy to work out. So if that's not working, then you're not having the energy that you need. So the way to get to a healthy gut is by eating those fibrous things that we were talking about with the broccoli, the cauliflower, all that, what we talked about earlier. That changes the bacteria in your gut and puts you on a healthy path. And look at it, says it helps with your hormone balance as well. So if you're going through menopause, you're perimenopause, you definitely want to get a healthy gut. You can get tested for, the state of your gut. You can get tested for that. There's different tests for it, but I would just look at the indications in your life and see if, maybe you're struggling and it's not that it's your hormones. It might just be your gut health. All right, so putting it all together, and this would be a great screen to screenshot. Just screenshot this, take a picture of this, because this is kind of everything in a nutshell. And like I said, I am not a dietitian. I've been studying Dr. Stacy Sims is her name. She's like a menopause athlete guru. And I know that a lot of women that I am in contact with, we exercise pretty regularly, and we're pretty serious about our exercise and getting our workouts in. And so this really correlates to my niche, because women want to take care of their bodies. They want to exercise. They're frustrated with weight gain. They don't know why. And it's because they're not eating the right nutrients. They're probably not eating enough of the right things. They're not drinking their water or getting their rest. I mean, it's kind of a whole package together. But this, along with getting your exercise, you can see changes in your body. So this is what I want you to take away, this screen. Eat a colorful diet of fruits and vegetables to affect your microbiome and your insulin sensitivity. If you eat healthy things, then your body's going to be better at taking insulin and using it for energy. Up your protein intake. Don't be afraid to eat more protein. If you eat a lot of protein and your body doesn't know what to do with it, normally it'll just pee it out. Protein has the lowest chance of becoming stored body fat, especially if you are eating that protein. Now your body has to break the meat down. It has to, decompose it in your body. metabolically, your body has to work to break down protein. But for like donuts and cake and ice cream, it don't have to hardly break that down at all. It just changes to insulin. But your protein intake, your body, if you eat, it's better to eat real food. If you have to do drinks, that's okay, but it's better to eat real food, tofu, what is soy, whatever you need to do. If you're a vegetarian, it's better to eat real food than to have a protein drink all the time. Only if you're on the go and only if you have no other way to get it in, go ahead and do that. So remember, it's 80% nutrition, 20% exercise, 100% mindset. And your mindset goes a long way in how your health is, right? And I just want to encourage you that a lot of times in your life, you might go through a time where you can't work out. You broke your ankle, you can't work out, but you can still maintain and you can still have progress in your life by your food. Just your food alone can make a huge difference. I have a friend, she didn't exercise at all, and she just watched her food and she lost almost 40 pounds, I think it was. So your food is everything. The real fight is in the kitchen, right? The real fight is at night. The other thing I want to say is it's good to stop eating 2 hours before you go to bed. Sometimes you might not be hungry in the morning. You might, not want to eat till noon or whatever. That's okay, but at least 2 hours before you go to bed. And that helps your sympathetic nervous system, the one that creates melatonin and those kind of things. That helps it go into gear and give you a deeper night's rest. So that's why you want to have the 2 hour break before you actually go to bed. Water intake, we talked about that. At least half your body weight. I'm missing a thing in there. It should say at least half. At least half your body weight in ounces. Exercise 3 times a week. We didn't talk about resistance training, but that is key to putting on muscle is exercising and lifting weights. And you want to lift with the proper form and then get up to lifting heavier weights that gives your body the exercise stimulus that it needs to create lean muscle mass that you're not getting from estrogen anymore. So that's why resistance training, if you are able to do any kind of plyometrics, you might be like, Diesta, I can't jump. That's okay. High intensity exercise where you do an interval. Maybe for you, it's walking faster on the treadmill for a couple minutes and then going back to a slower pace. Just anything that kind of gives you an interval there can help. And then sleep, we talked about sleep. If you don't get the right amount of hours of sleep, your body can't repair itself. The brain is, spending that time repairing your muscles, so it's important. And then the carbs, this is her range of carbs. I know a lot of you guys will see that and be like, I can't eat that. But it's just a reminder, now these are plant-based carbs, right? This is not donuts and cookies, and it's, eating earth food and your fruits and vegetables. And then your protein was about 2 grams per kilogram. So whatever you are in pounds, change that to kilograms and then times it by 2. Your fat would be whatever your body is in kilograms. So, and then if you have, concerns, you need to work with your dietitian. If you have any pre-existing, insulin, sugar diabetes or anything like that, you got to talk to your doctor before that. So I just want to say thank you. I want to go into a couple slides here because I want to tell you what I do. Sometimes I don't talk about my own coaching, but I do help women with their nutrition. I help them with their exercising. I help them with accountability and motivation and tough love. And we have a great time together. This picture is some of my clients that I've worked with over the past couple of years. They all had different goals. Some of them just wanted accountability. Some of them wanted, just help getting on the right track. Sometimes they just needed to talk to someone about their health and what changes they wanted to have in their life. But I would love to work with you if you want a health coach who loves people and who is fun and exciting. I am all those and above. This is one of my clients from Minnesota. I work virtually with people. If people are local, I try to, get together with them as much as I can. But I usually do a 3-month program, and then we do check-ins for the 3 months after that, because my interest is in your long-term success. A lot of people have 12-week programs, and then you can't talk to them anymore without, being charged for it. I don't agree with that. I want to be a part of your long-term success. And so I have check-ins with my clients for 6 months, and it just really helps them make sure that they have put positive habits into their lives. This is Jennifer. She wanted to get back in the pool again. She's an athlete. She wanted to start swimming, and she did great in her swim meet. She lost 15 pounds, but her inches were really impressive. She started, eating right. We upped her protein. She started lifting weights, and she had a knee problem. So we had to be really careful with her knees and what she could do for her health and her body, and for resistance training. But it was a great opportunity to work with Jenny. And then a friend, Kamaria, I worked with her, and she lost 16 pounds. She wasn't drinking her water like she should have been. She was having all these heart palpitations, and when she exercised, and she started drinking all her water, and her heart palpitations went away. It was crazy. But it just goes to show that little tweaks in your diet can make you really successful. I love this quote by Maya Angelou. When a woman begins, it's on the left here, when a woman begins to take care of herself, she becomes her own best friend. Okay, so now I have launched my own fitness app, which I can program home workouts for you or gym workouts for you, personalized to your own fitness level. This is Danielle's exercise calendar for the month. She can switch different things around if she wants to, but I've given her different workouts. They're all at home workouts. She doesn't belong to a gym. She's down almost 11 pounds now since we've been working together. And we are talking with each other, seeing what works for her. I do have my own videos in here. If you see under number 7, Diesta stretch routine, I am adding more of my own videos to this, but it's a lot of workouts that I program for you that you can do at home. You don't need a gym to get in shape. You just need motivation, a pair of dumbbells, some tennis shoes, and a mat. That's all you really need. Okay, so I want to talk to you. Oh my goodness. This thing that I want to show you, this messed up, but I'm having a fun run on, for some reason, this didn't download right, but September 17th, at Chambers Bay, I'm having a fun run, and it is for Raising Girls. I want to show you their website. I will get to that in a minute, but Raising Girls, they provide sanitary products, and they provide feminine products to high school and junior high girls. So 1 in 4 teenagers monthly experience period poverty. So imagine if you get up that day, you're supposed to go to school, you get your period, but you don't have pads, you don't have tampons, your family doesn't supply what you need, and so you're not going to go to school because you don't want to be embarrassed. I've been embarrassed at school, had a spill in my period before. It's very embarrassing. You're not going to play sports. You're going to miss that day of school. And so this organization, Raising Girls, they provide these products. They do them every 2 months. We're supposed to have this this weekend. We were supposed to have it this weekend, but Chambers Bay, they scheduled my event at the same time as the women's Pro-Am golf tournament. I don't know how that happened, but it did. This is a picture of Chambers Bay. The walk is beautiful. It's a 3-mile walk. It says a 5K run, but if you don't want to run, most of the ladies I know aren't running. But we start at the bottom of the bowl there, and we go up the zigzag side, and then come down the steep side. And so it's going to be amazing. I found out today that my girlfriend, who still works at Boeing, she's trying to get the Boeing company to kind of sponsor my event. That could be just huge. I'm just so excited. But anyway, it's $30 to enter for a t-shirt, or you could just donate. I'm going to show their website here in a minute. And so that is my kind of passion right now, is to help this organization supply sanitary pads. They also, if they get donations for boys, for shampoo and stuff like that, they make baskets for boys. And it's all in the Pierce County, Tacoma area that they do this work. That's Raising Girls Fun Run on September the 17th. Please sign up if you haven't. And this is the question as I go around the room. I am going to, hold on a second here. I'm going to go out of full screen here. And I am going to stop my recording.